It was an early morning at Crystal Prep Academy. Sugarcoat was standing by her locker with her friend Sunny. They were just talking about random school things when their friend Inigo Sap walked up to them, and they saw that she was holding a flyer. Hey, have you heard? On what? The annual Hearts and Hooves Carnival is coming to town for next week. Are you serious? Said Sunnyfair. Yeah, we all should go. Well, I don't know, said Sugarcoat. Oh, come on, it'll be fun. Have you asked the others? Yeah, I asked Sour Sweet and even Lemon Zest, and they both said yes. We all should go to this as a group, said Indigo Zap. Well, that sounds fun, said Sunnyfair with a little smile. But they both looked at Sugarcoat, who actually wasn't even curious, but she said, I will think about it though. Come on, it would be more fun if as a group. And since if the others are going, why not want you all to join in with us? Okay, I will think about it though, okay? Give me by time tomorrow to ask to think about it. Alright, said Inigo Sap with a smile, and they all went to the first class. Rest of the day though, everything was just perfect normal. Even during lunch break. Sugarcoat can actually overheard some of the students in the distance talking about this carnival. Apparently, this carnival was a very hot topic even at this day. She heard some that these girls were actually going with a boyfriend, or some girls was going with some friends, or even girlfriends. But Sugarcoat really wanted to go to this carnival, but she wished that she could go with someone as like a date or something. But she wasn't sure any about that though. But even her friends was very eager to go all down to this group because last year she actually went with her friends Southsweet, Indigo Sap, Lemon Zest, and even Sunnyfair as a group. But she wanted to break the pattern this time. She wanted to go to this carnival with some boy, like a date. Not necessarily to be as a dating as a relationship, but if a boy wanted to ask her out, but she wasn't even sure exactly though. Even there were some cute boys in school, but it was just one that she really had a crush on. A same year age of her as was a boy by the name Winter Sky. Winter Sky was like herself, very athletic, sporty guy, and he was a smart one. But at least what she knows, he didn't have a girlfriend. But she wasn't even sure if he had asked someone out as a date for the carnival or if anyone else had asked him. But she didn't want to tell her friends about this because even her friends wasn't even aware she had a crush on Winter Sky. But she wasn't even sure how to even ask him about it though. But she was hoping to be able to ask him shortly before this carnival was even going to start. Because she had thought maybe to ask him by the end of the day or maybe the next day. But she wasn't even sure because she didn't know how to ask him. Or if he even liked her the same way, or if he would say that he had already asked someone else. But she really was wanting to ask. But she was a little bit shy to even ask a boy on a date. Even though when she asked some of her friends about an idea possible, what if they thought about a girl ask a boy out for a date? They all had their all the same answers, like that is actually quite brave for the girl to even ask the boy on a date with her. But since her friends also were single, she was the only one that she had who had a crush on a boy in school though. But even after lunch break she thought to herself, I'm going to ask him before the last after the last class by her locker. So she went to the last class and as normal, she didn't start focused on her class, but deep down in her mind, she was nervous how things will turn out because she really liked this Winter Sky. So when the bell rang for the last class for the day, She went immediately to try to find him, but unfortunately, he wasn't even by his locker. So she thought maybe he was outside with some of the students. So she went out there, tried to look around, but didn't see him. Turns out he had only left about maybe a few minutes earlier, so she missed him. But she decided to ask him about the next day at least. But even at home, Sugarcoat was really curious to how to ask him. But she wasn't even sure how to ask her friends all about this. Asking a boy out or how they reacted when they ask why. Oh, just curious. But there was only one other person that she thought that could ask, and that was Twilight. Ever since the friendship games, she and Twilight have been like good friends. So she thought about calling her to ask her for advice. And she did. She did actually call Twilight. And Twilight was a little surprised though that she was calling her because even though they were good friends, they were just not often that they talk on the phone. But she asked her if she could ask her for advice. Normally though, Twilight never actually been asked for advice from her former classmates. But this was unusual. But she said yes. So Sugarcoat did tell Twilight all about this, that she had a crush on a boy and that she wasn't sure how to ask him out for this carnival, something like that. And Twilight was a bit surprised to hearing that, but she said, just be yourself. And if he doesn't even like you the same way, at least you have tried, and it's the best thing that you can actually do, Twilight said. So Sugarcoat accepted this idea and this advice. Even the rest of that evening, she couldn't even sleep. She was just turning around in bed, just like have very much high thoughts and hopes for this idea and this possible end happening for the next day. But eventually, she did fall asleep. But the next day, though, she was more nervous than anything. Even on the school bus at the school. She didn't see him, though, but she was very nervous and she decided to ask herself, should I ask him in the morning, at the locker, during a lunch break, or even after school? She decided at lunch break would be best. So, even when she met up some of her friends by her locker the same day, she was trying to act normal, which she were a little bit difficult, but she managed at least. They did ask her if something was wrong with her because she seems to be nervous about something. No, she said that she was just a bit tired, that's all. So they accepted. But after just lunch break, though, when she has finished, she noticed that Winter Sky had just left the cafeteria. So she went slowly after him, trying to ask him about his idea. And she found him by his locker just alone. She walked up to him and asked, "Hey, Winter Sky, can I ask you something?" And he actually saw her and, yeah, what's up? Um, this carnival is approaching, and I'm I'm wondering um if you have asked someone to for as a date for the carnival. Actually, no, I haven't been asked or asked someone yet, though. I wasn't even sure if I was even going to the carnival. But what do you ask? She started blushing a lot more. Well, the truth is, I wish that maybe if you want to go with me to the carnival. Winter Sky just looked at her, and she was prepared for him to start laughing or just telling her that he liked her, but he didn't want to go with her. There was other those two options that could be happening. But he smiled and said, "Well, I would like that." Wait, are you serious? And he nodded. "I will pick you up at your home on The carnival day as a date? "Y- Yeah, sounds great." And both just smiled and just hugged them and went away. Even after her friends had left the cafeteria themselves, they saw that she was smiling and it's just because before she left the cafeteria she was a bit nervous and now she was smiling. Something was up. And it was also supposed that she was going to give them the answer if she was going with them as a group. So, Sugarcoat, about the question I asked you about yesterday, Indigo Zap said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not going with you guys." "What? Why?" said the others all almost at the same time. "I'm actually going to have a date on the carnival." The others just looked at each other with a curious look, and they all said, "Who?" "Winter Sky," she said with a smile. "Wait, he asked you out?" And she shook her head and said, "No, I did." "Wow, that's quite brave, actually," said Ingolstadt. "I had never thought you would even ask him out," said Sunnyfair. "But hey, at least you have a date now." The others laughed and said with a smile, "Yeah, that's true." As the rest of the day, Sunny Sugarcoat was really excited. And after all, now she has an official date for the carnival. And even though the carnival wasn't just supposed to be another week, but Sugarcoat couldn't stop counting the days down to this amazing first date ever. In her mind, ever since then, she had always imagined how her first date would turn out. Like they have their first kiss together, and they have sharing kind of candy, going for a Ferris wheel, and enjoying the ride, something like that. But even though she always played those scenarios in her mind, she knows that things always not doesn't turn out as she originally planning them. But that doesn't stop her. And in fact, she was just so curious how this will end up. And she was also wondering if and if this date was a success. She wondered if she would ask him out again for a different date, as in a more official date. Even though that were something that she really hoped, but at least she had a date for the carnival. During the time when Sugarcoat, she started being imagining like how things will turn out for at the date on the carnival. She started wondering if this could be the first step for as an official boyfriend with Winter Sky. Which she at least hopes that maybe that they could start dating at least. But she will wait to see how they will turn out after the first date at the carnival. And then one day, the day came when the carnival was happening. She had put up on a cute dress and was sweating outside her home when with this guy showed up in his car and he said that she looked beautiful. And she smiled and blushed at that. And they went off to the carnival. At the carnival, though, they had an incredible time. They went on rides and played some games and even shared cotton candy, like her that she imagined they would do. But something did felt different because during the whole time he was smiling and even holding her hand. She felt like this was as an official date, and she really liked this guy. He was really like herself, calm, smart, even goofy for sometimes. And she started wondering if he actually liked her more than as a friend. But she was a bit shy to even ask that. But as the date went on, the carnival went on. They went to see this performance and even played more games and enjoyed the rides. But just before the carnival's about to end, they decided to take a ride in the Ferris wheel before the carnival ends. When the Ferris wheel stopped at the top, Winter Sky looked at Sugarcoat and asked her if she had a good time so far. And she said that she really had a good time. And then he asked, how about we actually go on another date, maybe next week? She blushed and said, I was actually even going to ask you that. Wow, really? That's surprising. Well, I would actually like you though, and I will like to go out with you again. And both said yes to that. So they decided maybe to go to have a movie next week. And after they left the carnival, before though to taking her home, it was still around just 5 p.m. and it was still like light side outside, daylight. So he asked her if she maybe wanted to go somewhere to have something to eat before taking her home. And she said yes. So then on the way onto the small diner in the area, Sugarcoat did text at her mom that she will be home a bit later because she and her date is actually going to have something to eat. And her mom was okay with it, as long as she came home afterwards. At the diner though, they both decided to have a burger and some fries, something like that. And they actually just talked about the time at the carnival. They actually had such a great time. They bonded much over things that they didn't even expect to. They both had such great imaginations. They had both same things, a lot of things in common. And even afterwards, when he took her home, then he actually gave her a kiss. And she blushed and said thanks. But the next day in school, the others was really eager to hear all about this date and how the things turned out. And when they found out, they actually had decided to go on an official date by the next week. They were really excited, but also curious if she really liked him so much as she seems to like. And she just nodded and said yes. But the next week though, they actually went to the movies and they both had such a great time. They actually decided to watch a comedy movie. They asked, it was an official date this time, but this was more different because Sugarcoat felt very happy. And even afterwards, they actually went to a small diner again to have something to eat. After all, it was just around 6 p.m. But then, something went on different one, which Sugarcoat didn't expect to happen. He asked her if she wanted to be his official girlfriend, which she just nodded said yes. And by the next following weeks, they spent a lot more time together. They even went either to his home or her home to do homework or just hang out. Even her friends was actually happy to see that she had a boyfriend. The love between Sugarcoat and Winter Sky was unbreakable bond because the love between them was so strong, and Winter Sky treated Sugarcoat with such much respect, love, and kindness, and she did the same thing back to him. And even after they finished high school, though, they were still being together. With this guy was actually working as a mechanic while Sugarcoat was working at the local grocery store, and they was just having a great time. And after being together for such time, they actually moved in together in a small apartment. But on their 6 years anniversary, Winter Sky actually proposed to Sugarcoat, and she said yes. She could have been more happier with someone like Winter Sky. When the both families and friends was told about this, they were all overjoyed. They were even invited because even though they decided to have a small wedding just for close friends and family, but they're having a great time. They even went to rent a small cabin outside town for about a week for this honeymoon. Even though they didn't mind that it was a small cabin or going to a tropical island, as long as they've been together, that's all that mattered for them. And after being married for about 2 years, Both Winter Sky and Sugarcoat announced they were expecting their first baby within the next few months, and they were expecting a daughter. 3 years later, they actually had another baby, a boy, which both Winter Sky and Sugarcoat was really excited. Now they had a complete family, a boy and a daughter. But the bond between Winter Sky and Sugarcoat was still unbreakable. Even for Winter Sky, he was still very happy that Sugarcoat actually had asked him out all those years ago for the carnival as a first date. And if she hadn't even asked him, they wouldn't even have found their true love and have this amazing love for Jen, the amazing time, and even have this lovely family. So both Sugarcoat and Winter Sky were happy that she took the first step in their future relationship. And this is how Sugarcoat and Winter Sky found a true love, got a family together. The end.